Congressman Arlene Brosas, nandyan po ba kayo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ma'am, mauna na po kayo. You're now recognized.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, maaari po bang malaman ang implementation ng RA 11058 o ang OSH Law sa panahon ng pandemya? Ito po ay isa sa mga masugid, no, na isinulong ng Gabriela Women's Party at ng mga iba't ibang mga organisasyon ng mga manggagawa. Kaya po inaalam natin kung sa panahon ng pandemya, kamusta naman ang ating OSH. Mr. Chair.
You're now recognized, Secretary Bello.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Congresswoman. May I request our Executive Director of the Occupational Safety and Health Center address the concern of the Honorable Congresswoman. Director Noel Binag, if you are around.
Director Noel, you're now recognized. Can you please answer the question of our Honorable Congresswoman Arlene Brosas?
Yes po, good morning po. Yung pong function po namin sa Occupational Safety and Health Center, tuloy-tuloy po yung pagkandak po namin ng trainings for safety officers. But ngayon, bawal po ang face-to-face. We are now conducting it on online po, via online. So, tuloy-tuloy po yung pagkandak po namin ng mga trainings. And also, yung mga technical services that are being requested, tuloy-tuloy pa rin po. Thank you very much po.
Okay, Congressman Arlene Brosas, your next question.
Mr. Chair, so tinigil muna ang inspeksyon dahil sa COVID, Mr. Chair.
Can you please answer from DOLE?
Director Binag, can you address the concern of the Honorable Congresswoman from Gabriela?
Yung pong inspection po ngayon sa on occupational safety and health, ang mga regional offices po namin ang nagkakandak ng inspection. Kami po sa aming opisina po, ang tanggapan po namin ay training lang po and research. Pwede po ba sana matanong ang Bureau of Working Condition to tell to us kung ano po yung status ng mga inspection po ng mga occupational safety sa mga workplaces po.
Asek Tesqueco, if you are around, can you respond to the concern of the Congresswoman from Gabriela Party List?
Asek, you are now recognized. Can you please answer the question?
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Secretary Bello, to all of the honorable congressmen. Yes, for the DOLE po, ever since the pandemic started, the DOLE already issued yung with the DTI guidelines on workplaces to make sure that they are protected and there's prevention of COVID in all these workplaces. Initially, in April 30, we already had the interim guidelines, and this was followed in August 15 by the supplemental DOLE DTI guidelines, again strengthening all the important indicators that the minimum public health standards as well as other important preventive measures are done in workplaces. And further to this, inspection was already started as early as May. And for the present, we have already done more around 48,000 inspection from up to August 2020 with 40,000 establishments, where there were 31 establishments that were compliant to the DOLE interim guidelines. There were deficiencies noted in almost 10,000 with a compliance rate of 75,000, and the number of workers that were covered for all of this 45,000 establishments covered was almost to 1.5 million workers. Ma'am, the DOLE continues to do the inspection, and we continue also to work with the companies to ensure that all of these public health standards in workplaces are met and they're complying to all of this. And this is part of the OSH law din po, because we know that the preventive measures are part of safety and health. Thank you po.
Congressman Arlene Brosas, you are now recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Kaya natin tinatanong ito, gusto nating makatiyak na ligtas ang mga manggagawa sa pagawaan. At kung nasusunod nga yung mga issuances, kung mismong yung DOLE pala ay naglabas na sinuspinde ang inspeksyon sa mga opisina at pagawaan. So, Mr. Chair, ang sinasabi nila, May pa nag-start. May. May 20, May nag-start ulit ang inspection. Pero before that, walang inspection. Tama ba, Mr. Chair? Kaya, Mr. Chair, pwede po bang makuha yung mga detalye na sinabi ng ating spokesperson ng ating resource person kanina, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Dole, can you please submit yung mga details? And Comsec, you're hereby directed para kunin sa kanila yung mga details.
Can I ask Undersecretary Benavides of the Bureau of Labor Relations?
Secretary
address that.
Yusek, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And yes, we can provide the details as required or required by the Honorable Representative from Gabriela, ma'am. Ma'am, this is just to stress that even during the pandemic, we are implementing the occupational safety and health standards. And these standards are supplemented by the interim guidelines issued by DOLE and DTI. But this time, ma'am, ang inspection at ang monitoring po natin is done not only by DOLE but other government agencies such as the DTI as well as the concerned local government units in order for us to ensure that the minimum health standards are complied with at the enterprise level. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Arlene.
Yes, now, Mr. Chair, my second question is on the last May 22, 2020, PEZA issued Memorandum Circular number 2020-0031. Ito po yung online self-assessment checklist. No? Pero sinasabi po natin, any kind of self-assessment shall not take the place of labor inspection conducted by the DOLE. Any kind of self-assessment shall not take the place of labor inspection conducted by DOLE. Ano po ang aksyong ginawa ng DOLE hinggil dito, Mr. Chair?
Secretary Bello, can you please answer?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. May we request again Undersecretary Benavides to address the concern.
Undersecretary, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In response to the query of the good representative from Gabriela, ma'am, we would like to check if indeed there is an issuance from the PESA. But let me assure this committee that under the law, yung self-assessment po talaga ay hindi pinapayagan. And that self-assessment, if any, being implemented by other government agency, is not actually conclusive, or the Department of Labor will not be bound by rules and regulations that are inconsistent with the Occupational Safety and Health Standard Law.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sinasabi natin kasi yung memorandum circular violates Chapter 6, Section 22 of RA authorized of RA 11058, which states that the Secretary of Labor and Employment or the Secretary duly authorized representatives shall inspect establishments and workplaces regardless of the size and nature of operation.
May I address that?
Okay, Secretary Bello, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Your Honorable Chair. I agree with the Honorable Congresswoman from Gabriela Party List. We cannot subsume our authority over the PESA and other business establishment, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Kailangan pong may action dito. May 22, 2020, PEZA issued Memorandum Circular number 2020-0031, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, sa third ko pong itatanong, kinukonsidera ba ng DOLE bilang imminent danger ang pagkakaroon ng kaso ng COVID sa workplaces? Yes or no po, Mr. Chair?
Secretary Bello, can you please answer?
May I ask again, Honorable Chair, Undersecretary Benavides to address that question.
Yusek Benavides, you're now recognized.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Once again, good morning. Well, ang virus po, ito po ay bagong virus. At we still know a little of this virus. At sa yung presence itself of the virus at the workplaces may actually pose danger to the workplaces. But if workplaces are compliant with the minimum health standards, yung tinatawag po nating protocols, yung pagsusuot po ng face mask, yung pagsusuot po ng face shield, social distancing, frequent hand washing, as well as yung regular disinfection, itong danger pong ito ay naa-abate. Ibig pong sabihin na iiwasan. So, Mr. Chair, the virus per se would not constitute as an imminent danger. Ang kailangan po natin gawin ay umiwas po dun sa virus sa pamamagitan po ng pagsunod dun po sa mga protocols na ipinapatupad po ng iba't iba pong ahensya po ng gobyerno. Actually, Mr. Chair, even without the virus, there are imminent dangers. But these imminent dangers can be resolved or abated if we will only comply with the standard as imposed under the Occupational Safety and Health Law, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Congressman Arlene?
So, ibig sabihin, Mr. Chair, hindi tinuturing na imminent danger ng DOLE ang pagkakaroon ng COVID, no, sa mga workplaces. Mr. Chair, gano'n na lang ba yung hindi nyo pagpapahalaga sa kapakanan ng ating mga manggagawa na hindi nyo tinuturing na panganib yung pagkakaroon ng COVID cases sa pagawaan? Kaya po natin tinatanong ito dahil ayon sa Section 6 ng RA 11058, may karapatan ang bawat manggagawa na piliin unang hindi pumasok. Ngunit may kompensasyon kung may imminent danger sa workplace, Mr. Chair.
Thank you po, Congresswoman, sa inyong last question. Yusek Benavides.
Mr. Chair, pahabol na lang po sa
sige
maternity
po.
leave kasi.
Sige po.
Oo.
Ano pa ho?
Mr. Chair, yung maternity leave, kaugnay po sa maaari bang malaman yung status ng implementasyon ng paternity leave ngayong pandemya?
Yusek Benavides, can you please answer all the questions ni Congresswoman Arlene?
Kasi Mr. Chair, kaya po natin tinatanong to, yung pagbabawal sa mga buntis na lumabas ng bahay, huwag po sanang gawing dahilan para sila ay tanggalin o ma-demote. No? Ano po yung tindig ng DOLE kaugnay dito, Mr. Chair?
Nice question, Congresswoman Arlene. Yusek Benavides, can you please answer the question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, under the law and our existing policy, no employee shall be prejudiced or discriminated against by the mere reason of his availment of the paternity or maternity leave. Actually po, Mr. Chair, it is even a criminal offense. Now, with respect po dun sa issue po ng virus, let me just clarify, Mr. Chair, that the virus would become an imminent danger if workplaces are not compliant with the minimum health protocols. Ano po kasi ito, nakadepende po ito sa pagsunod o sa pagpapatupad po natin ng mga occupational safety and health standard. It may become imminent or it may not be imminent, depende po dun sa kakayahan o dun sa kagustuhan ng mga manggagawa and especially the employer sa pagpa-implement po nung face mask, requirement ng face mask, face shield, social distancing. So in short, Mr. Chair, if the workplace is not compliant with the minimum health standard, then the virus may become an imminent danger and hence workers has that right to refuse from reporting to work,
Pwede
Mr. Chair.
sila magsumbong sa DOLE niyan.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, Mr. Chair, under the law, the workers are also given the right to report the same to the Department of Labor and Employment.
Okay, thank you. Alam nyo, bago ko ibigay yung chairmanship kay Congressman JJ Suarez, ngayon ko lang napatunayan kasi nung dumating tong COVID, sabi ko parang ito na yung pinakamatinding pagsubok na wala nang tatalo dito sa COVID-19. Buong mundo. Lagi ko iniisip, ano pa ba ang kayang tumalo sa COVID-19? Pero may mga napatunayan rin ako this past few months na meron po palang mas malakas pa sa COVID-19 na siguro hindi tayo aware. Ito po yung tinatawag na politika. Kasi po kahit may COVID-19 na tayo, namumulitika pa rin ang mga iba. Tirahin ng administrasyon. Hindi ko lang po maintindihan. I'm sorry, hindi naman to dapat dito, pero gusto ko lang ilabas yung sentiment ko na ang panawagan ko lagi ngayon may COVID, COVID-19, hindi natin alam kung ano mangyari sa mundo. Gagaling ba to? Lalala ba to? Pero ang dami pa rin eh. Pag nagtingin ka ng news, tirahin si Presidente Duterte, tirahin sila Vice President. Kumbaga sa akin dito, wala nang oposisyon, wala nang administrasyon. Mas maganda sana ngayong may COVID-19, ang meron na lang ay Pilipino. Pilipino po. Pag sinabing Pilipino, hindi ka liberal, hindi ka PDP, hindi ka NP, kung anuman partido. Dapat po, ginagawa natin to, sama-sama tayo sa pandemic. Doon lang po ako nalulungkot na itong pandemic na to, ito na sana ang opportunity na ipakita ng mga tao na tayo ay iisa. Na tayo ay iisa, lalabanan natin ang COVID-19 at ang COVID-19 ay hindi tayo kayang talunin. Pero ang nakita ko, ang COVID-19 hindi kayang talunin ng politika. Yun po ang nakakalungkot. At muli po, nananawagan ako ng pagkakaisa na sana po itigil natin ang politika, tumutok tayo sa COVID-19, lahat tayo magtulungan. Imbis na batikusin natin, tulungan natin kung ano ang magagawa. Kung may pagkukulang ang DOH, tulungan natin. Huwag po natin pagtawanan, huwag natin i-bash. Yung mga artistang tumutulong, huwag natin sabihin, kakandidato yan, kaya tumutulong. Huwag po ganun. Lahat po tayo bilang tao, meron tayong responsibilidad sa ating bansa bilang Pilipino na magtulungan upang ma-survive ang COVID-19. Pasensya na po kayo mga kasamahan ko at gusto ko lang ilabas yung frustrations ko dahil despite COVID-19, nakikita ko na nanalo pa rin ang politika eh. So, ibabalik session suspend.
Session resumed. Secretary Bello. We were left with the answers of Yusek Benavides to the queries of Congresswoman Arlene Brosas. Can we wrap it up and let's proceed to the next interpellator? Yusek.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, in sum, Mr. Chair, we would just want to assure the public that the department continues to enforce existing standards, especially that of occupational safety and health standard, because it is actually very important in this time of the pandemic that workers and employers alike are safe and healthy, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Thank you very much. Actually, I just want to echo the sentiments of Congresswoman Brosas. You know, itong pandemic has brought to us, new challenges in our everyday life, and new challenges indeed in the workplace. But one thing that we have to realize is that we need to learn how to coexist with the virus. We need to learn how to make the economy work with the virus. And we have to make sure that the people who make the economy work, our workers, are safe from the virus. So, I would just like to echo yung sentiment ni Congresswoman Brosas na sana pati sa DOLE, sa mga safety hazards inspectors natin na nagche-check sa mga iba't ibang mga establishments, let's be a little bit COVID, no? Not naman a little bit, but let's be COVID sensitive also sa requirements ng ating workers. So next to be recognized is our Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda from the majority. Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda, you're now recognized. Is she with us? Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda, are you with us? If she's not, di babalikan na lang natin siya. I now recognize Congresswoman Geraldine Roman. Congresswoman Geraldine Roman.
Hello. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Congresswoman. Yes, you're recognized. You may proceed with your 3 minutes.
Tensya niyo po, wala po tayong video at mahina po ang ating internet connection. Magandang umaga po, Secretary Bebot Bello at ang team po ng DOLE. Ito po ang aking katanungan. Nais ko munang sabihin na hindi matatawaran na naging papel na ginampanan ng Department of Labor and Employment sa nakaraang pandemya at sa kasalukuyan po. Malaking papel po ang ginampanan din po ng inyong TUPAD and GIP programs. Ano po? I speak on behalf of so many congressmen and congresswomen in the House of Representatives inquiring about the status of our government internship program funds, which were approved and allocated for 2019 and yet hanggang ngayon po ay hindi pa po nare-release. Nag-aantay na po ang aming mga constituents at alam niyo naman po, this is a matter of survival for so many families. So this is my first question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Secretary Bello, who are we gonna recognize to answer the questions of Congresswoman Geraldine?
Thank you, Your Honor. May I request our Assistant Secretary for Local Employment, ASEC Nikki Tutay, to address the concern of the Honorable Geraldine Roman from the province of Bataan.
Asek Tuta, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and magandang umaga po sa lahat, and especially to the question, maraming salamat, Congresswoman Geraldine. Ma'am, noong pong 2019, we have a budget of 440 million for government internship program, and ang target po natin dyan ay 9,001 youth beneficiaries. And then part also of the 1.071 billion na for later release ay kasama po din ang government internship program at ang target po niyan ay 21,888. So we were able to accomplish 45,121 youth beneficiaries under the government internship program. For 2020 po, meron po tayong nailaan na 473 million para po mag-benefit ng 10,599 youth. So far po, ang na-accomplish na po natin, ma'am, ay 11,102. Thank you, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
may I
Congresswoman, you
continue with my
may
question?
continue.
Yes, actually, what are you, I would like to ask the resource person, si ASEC, ang ibig sabihin niyo po ba ay na for late release na po? What was approved for 2020? Kasi po ang information na pinapasa po sa amin ng mga regional directors ay meron ng pondong nakalaan para sa aming mga GIP, no? Ano po? So, pero wala pa pong dumarating, and it's already September. So, kailan po namin maaasahan na marirelease na yan GIP at masimulan na natin ang programa dahil marami pong mga constituents natin sa buong bansa ang nag-iintay. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Asek.
Yes po, ma'am. Meron pong mga ongoing government internship programs po ngayon. After po na ma-lift po yung ECQ, meron po, during the GCQ, unti-unti na po tayong bumalik sa implementation po ng ating government internship program at asahan po ninyo, as we anticipate the Bayanihan 2 as well, tuloy-tuloy po ma'am yung implementation po natin ng government internship program. Meron na pong mga proposals na na-approve po at the Office of the Secretary at ito po ay for downloading po yung mga corresponding funds na nakalaan po para sa atin pong mga regions. Thank you po.
Mr. Chair, magpapatuloy po ako. Sa madalit salita, hindi pa po nare-release lahat o na-release na lahat. Kasi sinasabi nyo may nagaganap na ongoing, pero may iba hindi. Alam nyo po, maring samantalain ko itong pagkakataon para hingin para sa aking distrito, but that would be unfair to my colleagues in the House of Representatives. Alam nyo po, you have to be fair and equitable. nag-roll out kayo ng GIP, it should be nationwide sana. Pero gayon pa man, naunawaan ko. And I would be happy that you should assure us na later on this year, but please, let it be as soon as possible, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, may I go to my second question?
Yes, you may proceed, Representative Roman.
Yes, I celebrate the fact na tumaas po ang budget ng DOLE, lalo na po dito sa TUPAD, GIP, as well as the OWA, dahil napakarami po nating OFWs ang mayroong problema at namomroblema sa iba't ibang bansa sa mundo. Bahagi po ba ng mandato ng OWA ang tustusan, ang repatriation, sustenance ng mga OFWs na nawalan ng hanap buhay sa abroad, lalo na po sa Middle East, at yung kanilang medical and health care sa panahon po ng pandemya? Kasi ang dami-dami po, and I'm sure the chairman also has the same experience, na meron siyang mga constituents na nagkakasakit sa abroad dahil hindi naman sinutustusan ng kumpanya. So, ang aking tanong, meron bang ibinaambag ang OWA para to sustain our OFWs who are losing jobs abroad?
Secretary Bello.
Mr. Chair, hindi ko po marinig.
Bataan.
Yes. Mr. Chair, nawala po yung audio ni Secretary.
Mr. Chair, may I request our Administrator of OWA, Administrator Kagdak, to address the concern of the Honorable Congresswoman Geraldine Roman of Bataan.
Okay, before we recognize Administrator Kakdak, Representative Roman, I just want to let you know that you've used up your 3 minutes. So after the answer of Administrator Kakdak, we will proceed to the next interpellator. Administrator Kakdak, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Congresswoman Roman. Yes po, the short answer is yes. Meron tayong assistance that we provide to our OFWs. Of course, yung repatriation effort natin is through an emergency repatriation program. Meron pong funds ang OWA to that effect, and meron na rin ho tayong mga napauwi to their home regions in partnership with DFA and DOTR and other agencies, na 192,000 po to their home regions since May. So meron na 192,000 OFWs na nakauwi from abroad to their respective home regions. With respect to medical assistance po, the short answer is yes. Meron po tayong tulong na maaring ibigay in partnership again with the DOLE and the DFA on site. We assist our OFWs who nangangailangan ho ng medical assistance. Of course, here locally, we partner, or we also have medical programs with the PhilHealth, but as far as OWA is concerned, we also have medical assistance programs, ma'am, and with the repatriation funding that we had from Congress recently, from Bayanihan 1 and the GAA, we now also have COVID assistance measures, COVID assistance benefits for those afflicted with COVID abroad. And dun sa mga kinasamaang palad ho, ma'am, na nasawi abroad, meron na rin ho tayong cremation and funeral assistance for them aside from repatriation po ng kanilang mga human remains.
Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataong binigay niyo sa akin. Isang pananawagan lang po, let us work with a sense of urgency in rolling out the programs of the DOLE. From this humble representation, I fully support and celebrate the increase in your budget. Maraming salamat, Mr. Secretary.
Okay, so let the chair just remind DOLE, similar to the request of Congressman Roman, and I'm sure she speaks for her district, and I speak for the members of the House. Are there any pending programs that DOLE needs to implement in all districts? Kindly fast track these programs dahil alam naman natin matindi ang pangangailangan ng tao ngayon at mas mahalaga na ang serbisyo ng pamahalaan ay agaran nilang matanggap. Ang susunod po nating kikilalanin para sa kanyang interpellation ay babalikan po natin ang ating minority floor leader Bishop Benvenido Abante.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, you may
Maraming
proceed.
salamat po. Opo, maraming salamat po sa ating mga colleagues na dito ngayon sa ating Zoom at gayon din po maraming salamat sa DOLE family, lalo na po kay Secretary Bebot Bello. Hindi na po ako magtatanong, Mr. Chair. Gusto ko lang pong magbibigay ng kaunting manifestasyon. Ina-appreciate ko po ang ginagawa ng DOLE ngayon sapagkat sila po ay very effective at one of the most efficient agencies na nakita ko ngayon po sa pandemic na ito. Nakita ko po na Secretary Bello ay
Yes.
na while noon medyo magulo pa at talaga namang tayo ay naghahanap pa talaga ng kaayusan. At ngayon nakikita ko po na of course hindi po perfect ng ating ginagawa, yet the OWA administrator and the OWA people have been doing their best in taking care of the OFWs. Kaya nakikita ko po ito at sana po patuloy po niyong gagawin ito at salamat po na kahit na po wala nang halos pondo ang DOLE ay sinisikap pa rin po ni Secretary Bello na maghanap po ng pondo para po sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na po yung mga walang trabaho, lalo na po yung talagang mga mahihirap ay natutugunan po ang kanilang mga pangangailangan. So kami po sa minority, maaari po ang aking mga ibang kasamahan ay may mga ilang katanungan po to clear the air at to clarify some points. Pero gusto ko po sabihin kay Secretary Bello at ang pamilya ng DOLE that your minority leader and the minority is in full support of what you're doing and praying that you could be able to do more, praying na kayo po ay magiging malakas pa at malusog at we are supporting the budget given to you. Alam po namin na hindi po sapat ang budget na yan kung titignan po natin talaga yung pangangailangan po ng ating mga kababayan. Yet, the fact is this and the truth is this, that you have been doing your very best. Kaya maraming salamat po sa inyo at congratulations po, hoping that you will still be a great help to our kababayan, especially doon sa mga nangangailangan. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minority Floor Leader. Secretary Bello, would you want to give any comments regarding the statements of our dear Minority Floor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and the Honorable Minority Floor Leader. Maraming salamat po at maasahan ninyo na yung pong department namin po ay talagang alam namin ang aming mandato at yun ay yung paano tulungan yung ating mga empleyado, both formal and informal. At kung kaya namin ibigay yung tulong na yan, ay makakaasa po kayo na gagawin po ng DOLE ang lahat na magagawa namin para may parating namin ang tulong natin sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan ng tulong. Maraming salamat po, Congressman.
Thank you very much, Secretary Bello. Next, to interpellate from the majority, the chair recognizes Congressman Christopher De Venecia.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes?
All right, great. Thank you. Una sa lahat, good morning po kay Sec Bello. Ka-text ko lang siya last week. Thank you for replying to my message. The DOLE, the DOLE family, sa lahat ng tulong niyo sa aming freelance bill, sa Eddie Garcia bill, at sa lahat ng mga panukala po natin sa Labor Committee. Siyempre, suportado po tayo sa inyong budget at gaya ni Congresswoman Geraldine Roman, natutuwa po tayo dahil ito ay tumaas. So, ilang katanungan lang naman po mula sa representasyong ito mula sa Pangasinan. Una po yung ating Occupational Safety and Health Standards Law, no, na naipasa po namin sa previous Congress. Gusto ko lang po malaman very briefly kung ano na po ba yung implementation nito because it seems na maraming mga industriya ang parang hindi pa ata familiar sa batas na ito at ngayon na nasa gitna po tayo ng pandemya, malaking tulong po yung pagkakaroon ng isang OSH plan sa ating mga lugar kung saan nagtatrabaho ang ating mga mamamayan. So very briefly po, ano po ba ang status ng implementation nito at ano po ba ang plano for 2021?
Secretary Bello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I again request Director Binag of the Occupational Safety and Health Center to address the concern of the Honorable Congressman De Venecia.
Yes, Director, you're now recognized to answer the questions of Congressman De Venecia.
Mr. Chair, if Director Binag is not available, may we request Assistant Secretary Tesco Cueco of the Bureau of Workers with Special Concern, a working condition.
In the absence of the Director, the ASEC is now recognized. ASEC.
Good morning, Chair, and to all the congressmen. Good morning po, and Secretary Bello and all the officials of DOLE. Yes, the DOLE po has issued the interim guidelines and the supplemental guidelines together with DTI on the prevention and control of COVID in the workplaces. This policy issuance is under the safety and health law because this looks at the minimum public health standards that companies should comply with. We have been giving all advocacy information nationwide with our regional offices on this important issuances, and in fact, enforcement or inspection has been done on workplaces. And as of August of last month, 40,943 establishments have been inspected, and we have already seen 31,000 establishments that have been complying with a compliance rate of 75%. And with those with noted violations have also been, of course, the support so they can continue to comply despite with their deficiencies has also been given by both the DOLE and the DTI as well as the LGUs. So doon po, we have been constantly already nationwide been working with all companies, and enforcement is also ensuring that these guidelines have been the companies are aware of this and they are compliant to all of these guidelines po.
So meaning to say, Mr. Chair, itong mga guidelines na to ay hango dun sa OSH law or kumbaga naka-incorporate na po yung guidelines ng OSH dun sa programa po ngayon ng DOLE sa ating mga business establishments for compliance? Ganun po ba? Or magkaiba to?
May I answer, sir?
Yes, you may proceed, ASEC.
Okay. Yes po, hango po to sa Oslo because sa Oslo po nandun ho ang yung mga components ho ng Safety and Health Committee, yung safety officer, yung program, yung polisiya. The guidelines po that the DTI and the DOLE issued are part of took all of these items in the Oslo and is now part of the guidelines together po because this is COVID and there are minimum public health standards that should also be implemented and complied with because this is of course this is a public health issue as well. Nandun nakapaloob na po yun, and all the strategies po of course the national government on the prevent, detect, isolate, treat, and recover, nakapaloob po yun sa both the OSH law as well as the supplement as well as the guidelines po that has been issued by both the DOLE and the DTI po.
Alright, that's very good to know, Mr. Chair, no? So sa lahat po ng mga nanonood ngayon sa Facebook, yung mga negosyo po, sana po makapag-comply tayo sa OSH law na ito. Sana meron po kayong empleyado na makapag-undergo ng training as a safety officer. Madali lang naman po siya at ikaka-proud din yon ng empleyado ninyo kung sila po ay mag-training para talagang ma-ensure yung safety and health sa ating mga workplace. Mr. Chair, natutuwa rin po ako dahil under the leadership of Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano and Deputy Speaker Ellery Villafuerte at ang ating economic stimulus team na sina Kong Sharon Garin, Stella Kimbo, and Joy Salceda, ay naisama po natin yung freelancers, no, dun sa Bayanihan 2 na atin pong na-ratify nung isang linggo. At kasama po doon ay yung tinatawag na cash for work para dito sa mga freelancers na ito, or minsan nababansagan silang self-employed, minsan independent contractor, minsan talent sa entertainment industry, at marami pong iba pang mga bansag sa kanila. So, nais ko lang pong tanungin ang DOLE family natin kung paano po ba natin may implement itong cash for work program para sa freelancers na ito, given na sa kasalukuyan parang wala ata tayong tala or listahan ng mga freelancers sa ating bansa. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Congressman De Venecia. Congressman De Venecia, you've already used up your allocated 3 minutes, so that's your last question.
Sagot na lang po.
Yes, thank you very much. Secretary Bello, can you please answer the query of Congressman De Venecia?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I request our Director for the Bureau of Workers with Special Concern, Director Karen Trevilla, to address the concern of the Honorable Congressman De Venecia, Mr. Chair.
Director Karen, you're now recognized.
Good morning po, the Honorable Chair and the members of this committee. Sir, with respect po to your query on the tulong panghanap buhay sa ating disadvantaged or displaced workers, which is a community-based package of assistance for displaced workers, underemployed, and seasonal workers. And this includes po yung ating mga freelancers without employer-employee relationship and in unregulated relationship. Sir, all we have to do po is to submit to us a list of these freelance workers for us to be able to profile them and be included in the coverage of the TUPAD program. Thank you very much po.
Okay, Mr. Chair, comment na lang po before I wrap up. Hindi na po ito tanong. Mabuti na lang po, Mr. Chair, na under the leadership of Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano ay nabansagan po nila ang aming grupo, ang Arts and Culture and Creative Industries Block, na makipag-get in touch sa ating iba't ibang sektor ng creative industries. At nasabihan na rin po namin sila na ihanda ang listahan ng kanilang mga manggagawa na nag-fall under sa kategorya ng freelancer. At sa soonest possible time, pag napirma na po ni Pangulo ang batas at ready na po ang programa, i-endorse po namin ang mga listahang ito sa DOLE at sa tulong po ng ating magiting chairperson din ng Committee in APRO na si Congressman Eric Yap, pati na rin si Kong JJ Suarez. Maraming salamat po, Kong JJ.
Maraming salamat din, Congressman De Venecia. Let's now proceed to the next interpolator from the minority. Is Congresswoman Stella Kimbo on board? Congresswoman Stella Kimbo? Wala pa. Congressman Arigel Kabatbat? Wala pa rin. I'll now proceed with Congresswoman Franz Castro. Congresswoman Franz Castro. Kung wala pa rin si Congresswoman Franz, I'll now proceed with Congressman Freddy Gaite. Congressman Gaite, you have 3 minutes plus the 3 minutes that Congresswoman Kulyamat has allocated to you, so a total of 6 minutes. You may proceed.
Salamat, Kong Suarez, sa ating chair sa hapong ito, sa umagang ito, at isang magandang umaga rin sa ating pamilya ng Department of Labor na pinanggalingan ko rin noon. At nagagalak ko na tinatalakay ngayon natin ang napakahalagang budget ng Department of Labor and Employment na ninanais sana na tumugon doon sa matinding krisis sa trabaho, bunga na nga rin ng pandemya, at iba pang mga usapin na hinarap ng ating mga manggagawa. I will go direct to the point. Sa kasulukuyan, malaki ang relatively ilan sa mga ilang ahensya ng pamahalaan, malaki-laki ang itinaas ng budget para sa Department of Labor. Tulad na nabanggit, from 17.9 billion magiging 27 billion, or an increase of 9.6 billion, about 53%, while other government agencies, the increase was not so palpable, pero sa departamento na tama naman na kailangan ang dagdag na budget, ay kailangan, lalo na sa epekto ng pandemya. Ang una kong pong tanong, ayon sa Philippine Statistics Authority, noong nitong Abril, umabot sa 7.3 milyong Pilipino ang walang trabaho o unemployed. Mahigit 2 milyon dito ay nawalan ng trabaho sa panahon ng kasalukuyang pandemya at bunga na rin ng lockdown. Kung gayon, tama po bang sabihin na lubhang napakaliit ang inabot na tulong ng SAP ng DOLE kumpara sa bilang ng nangangailangan nito, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Secretary, please answer the concerns of Congressman Gaite.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, the Honorable Congressman Gaite. May I request Assistant Secretary Nikki Tutay of the Bureau of Labor Employment to address the concern of the Honorable Congressman Gaite.
Asik Tutay, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you po, Congressman Gaite. Yes po, tama po yung observation ninyo na maliit po na portion ng mga unemployed, both in the formal and informal sector, ang naabot po ng tulong ng Department of Labor and Employment. Meron lang po kaming about 1 million, both workers in the formal and informal sector na naayudahan po sa pamamagitan po ng COVID Adjustment Measures Program or CAMP na 5,000 financial assistance one time, at ang tupad na social safety net naman din po natin para sa atin pong informal sector workers.
Salamat po sa kasagutan, Mr. Chair, at sa ating pamilya sa Department of Labor. Nabanggit nyo na yung programang CAMP, tupad, yung CAMP AKAP para sa ating mga OFWs, mga informal workers at mga workers. At nung nakaraan, nabanggit nyo na bagamat meron programa ang Department of Labor, may ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na nagbibigay rin ng ayuda tulad ng DSWD. Sa tingin nyo ba, kwalipikado yung ating mga natanggalan ng trabahong mga ditong recent na pandemya, na kadalasan sila ay naetsapwera? Kasi technically, yung iba ay may trabaho pa. Bagamat bunga ng bagong work schemes, hindi sila normal na nagtatrabahong 5 days o 6 days a week. Lubiit ang kanilang kinikita. Pero because of that, hindi sila qualified sa programa ng DSWD at ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Paano nyo tinitignan ito bilang tugon na nabanggit nyo na, inadmit nyo, na kulang nga yung existing na program? Paano ito ngayon, yung gaps na binabanggit, paano ito ngayon mabibigyan ng tugon, Mr. Chair, sa ating pamilya sa DOLE?
Thank you very much, Congressman Gaite. Yes, Secretary Bello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I again ask ASEC Nikki to address the concern of the Honorable Gaite, Mr. Chair.
Asik Tutoy.
Thank you, Chair.